by miracle of sound. Alright, and welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast. This is episode 7, the final episode of Mistborn, the Lost Metal. I am Midnight, your host, and I'm here with Darkness.
Hello.
And Mythic.
Hello.
And we did chapters 66 all the way through to Epilogue 7, because there was 7 epilogues.
Crazy.
But however, before we start chapter 66, I have had a quote from Mistborn Era 1 that I've been holding on to until this episode.
Here we go.
So this is a quote from Mistborn the Final Empire, the very first Mistborn book, chapter 8, the epigraph. He shall defend their ways, yet shall violate them. He will be their savior, yet they shall call him heretic. His name shall be Discord, yet they shall love him for it. And so I'm going to repeat that quote at the end of this episode, and we will get back to that.
Okay.
I just want you guys thinking about that as we go through this episode. And of course, for Mythic's reference, and I guess Darkness's too, Discord is a capital D.
Huh.
So, actually, I'll post it in chat if you guys...
Can you put the quote in chat?
Yeah, let me copy and paste.
Thank you.
There you go. So yeah, that's from the very first book, Chapter 8's epigraph. And it is related to this episode, which is crazy to me.
Not really. Foreshadowing.
There was like a 10-year difference in the writing of the two books.
You know how long One Piece has been going? Foreshadowed things since fucking beginning in there too, so don't shock me anymore.
But yeah, so chapter 66, we start with Wax's point of view, as he asks Harmony to do his part to help. Harmony says his part was to put Wax where he needed to be, but Wax replies that he can't kill Autonomy and he needs Harmony to intervene if Autonomy tries anything. Harmony replies that Autonomy likely won't do anything, as the shards generally try not to directly intervene and more so just move people as needed. Wax then asks if he can kill Telsin, and Harmony replies that he isn't sure. Harmony then says that he can maybe interrupt Autonomy's connection with Telsin for a moment when Wax pushes for something Harmony can do to help, and Wax just tells him to be ready. So what do you think about Say's kind of being like, I really can't do much more to help you right now?
I mean, he seemed to have done quite a lot, so I don't know. I can't help you, but I can do this, this, and this.
What did you think, Darkness?
It's. I don't believe a word he says.
Right?
So Wax then flies him and Wayne up to the roof. When they land in the mist, Wax feels his exhaustion and pain fade. He thinks that holding the bands had done something to him, but Harmony says it was something else, that it hadn't worked the way he wanted it to. The mists swirl around him, but they keep a distance from Telsin, whose eyes are glowing red. Nearby, nervous engineers were working frantically on the rocket under floodlights. Wax tells Wayne to go give the workers a break while he aims his gun at Telsin. She says that he'll let her destroy Elendel, but he insists that he won't. Telsin then goes on to ask Wax how many people he'd let die to save a whole planet. She also says that Autonomy calls Wax a masterpiece, and she didn't originally agree, but is starting to see why Autonomy thinks that. She also mentions that Harmony is growing impotent, and Discord, capital D, is near. Telsin ignores the gun pointed at her, and asks if Harmony would destroy a city to save the planet, or if he would be frozen by indecision. Wax just thinks that something is wrong with this situation. So what do you think Telsin means by Discord is near?
Well, I mean, after you just said what you said, now I'm kind of curious. Now I'm layering things together myself.
What do you think, Darkness, about Discord being near? Harmony is growing impotent, and Discord is near.
Impotent, yeah.
So is that just like Harmony, but more on the ruin side?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
I don't know. We're gonna get to it at the end of the book.
Of course we are. That's why I'm trying not to say anything with what I'm already trying to calculate.
The nice thing
about
the nice thing about there not being any more Mistborn books after this is I can kind of go through what people's actual theories are with you guys for once, because there's no further Mistborn books. So we can actually talk a little bit about my theories on it and other people's theories on it, which is always exciting.
So what you're saying is this is going to be a very long episode. Got it.
Suddenly Wax states that the delivery device doesn't work as he lowers his gun. Telsin just shrugs but doesn't seem concerned. Wax thinks that if she really thought the planet would be destroyed if she didn't launch the bomb, she would launch it even if it didn't make it to Elendel. Wax then pushes on the rocket and it falls over with a hollow clang, making Wax instantly realize that it was a decoy. Telson's eyes go wide from Wax realizing her ruse. Wax glances out over the city in the mist, trying to think of what Telson and the set would do when their delivery device didn't work, and Wax was hot on their tails. Wax quickly realizes the bomb is being delivered by the ship. He glances out at the docks, and it's almost like the mist thinned for him, and he can see farther as he glances at the large Navy ships docked there. A ship would be able to pass the road and railway blockages. Telson says that Autonomy had predicted that Wax would figure it out, and that Autonomy seems to prefer Wax over Telson. Wayne comes over as Telson mentions how rocketry is a bit beyond their current abilities. So considering we find out later that Harmony says that Wax likely inhaled a bit of Lerasium dust, do you guys think him being able to see through the mist here is like him using tin? Or do you think it's just Harmony moving the mist for him?
I feel like it's more likely Harmony just moving the mist.
Mm.
Because he'd have to, like, he'd notice the other reserves he's burning.
You'd think so.
Well, I mean, literally, like when, what's his name? Harmony told Wax to, like, was it Wax? Wayne?
Wayne.
To burn that other metal, he was, like, not noticing if, like, there was a difference or not until he burned it.
I feel like it was more like he has never burned metal before, so, like, it took somebody nudging him to be like, hey, by the way, you could burn this other metal now.
Well, he burns bed delay.
Like, yeah, but I'm saying he's never burned other metals, so he's only done the one thing, so it's like his mind wasn't completely encapsulated.
That's how wax works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He only burns that one metal
only
too.
one metal.
So technically they would have had the same reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe he was using tin that time.
You think it was just Harmony helping out?
Yeah.
Like, here, have a line of sight out to the docks.
No, I think it was 10.
Mm.
I think he was unintentionally doing so.
So Wax continues to stare out at the ocean as he tries to figure out how he'll get to the ship, or if he can get to Ellendale before the ship does. Telson, however, continues to try to get Wax's attention, stating that he's always judged her and that she's hated him for decades. He continues to try and figure out how to stop the ship, while Telson goes on and on about how the Basin will start worshipping a better god. Like, he's just, like, ignoring her as she's, like, monologuing. She does that a lot. Right. She also states the bomb is set to explode if it's stopped, so he'll just die if he tries to go to Ellendale and stop it there. Wax then tells Harmony to cut Telson from Autonomy now. Telson falls to the ground, gasping as the red fades from her eyes. Wax then thinks there's only one way to get to the ship as he sees Wayne watching him. So at this point, what did you think Wax's plan was going to be? Did you have any ideas?
Honestly, no, but I thought about just pushing the ship out. Somehow him using, like, super, like, a lot stronger ability. And just pushing the ship out to sea before it blows up. But I mean, I also thought about the Wayne thing, that like him using his ability to slow / speed up time kind of thing, the way it is, But I mean, much better the way it was. But still, I thought that same thing. I was like, oh, why doesn't Wayne just go over there and, like, make it so that everything else, it's, like, slowed down or whatever around, it's not actually as bad. But I don't know if it really worked that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
As big as they were making the bomb sound.
Darkness, did you have any thoughts of what Wax's plan might be to stop the ship?
Generally, I was like, just get on that ship and turn it around. But out of curiosity, you're able to expand your bubble bigger than normal size, no?
The speed bubble?
Yeah.
So Wayne's able to do that, I think, because he's a savant. Like, I think generally there's, like, a general size, like, there's, like, a range of size you can have for your bubble if you're, like, just
you can boost it with Duralumin, right?
Yeah, so he boosts it with Duralumin later on.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, though, like, I mean, he states it, or the book states it kind of about the fact that nobody really has as much access to that metal as he does, so he's got a lot more, like, practice in doing things.
Yeah, he's because of how rich he's become, he's able, because Bendalloyd's, like, super fucking expensive. It's, like, one of the most expensive metals, I think, outside of aluminum. And so, like, he's, like, been, like, the only person who's been able to practice so much with it, because you'd have to both be rich and have that ability to be as good as him, which is both are probably pretty rare.
Uh-huh. I was just wondering because, like, I wonder how much he could boost it and how big he could get it. What if he just encased the whole ship?
Mm. Well, his specific thing was he was like we'll talk about it later, but he's basically leaving out the detonation part. Like he's like encapsulating like 90% of the bomb, not all of it,
Yeah.
so that like the like automatic like signals don't hit it to detonate it. Because even if you detonate it within a speed bubble, like the explosion's still going to get out once it reaches the edges of the bubble.
No, but I was thinking
Brooklyn.
about like encasing the ship so that there's like time for more evacuation.
Well, no, because the bubble's going faster. You'd want Marassi's power for that,
Yeah.
Right.
so you'd have
Yeah.
less time.
Mhm. So we would have to spike Marassi.
Yeah, Marassi would need Lerasium or Duralumin.
Wait, did we ever get a revelation to who the fuck messed with the bands?
No, not fully. We don't get a resolution to that.
I have a
Okay.
theory on it too, though.
Mm-hmm. But yes, chapter 67, we switch to Steris's point of view as she watches people pile onto a cargo train and ticks off a box on her list for another district evacuated. News was being spread about the evacuations and her excuses for them, causing people to begin fleeing by car, but she had planned for that as well. Ten soon comes over to her, letting her know that several of the senators, along with the Malwish ambassador, had fled. He also apologizes for bringing the bands and letting the Malwish take them. He states that he didn't know why they had been drained, and that he wasn't so good with human politics. Steris just says they'll have to deal with that later, as long as they survive this current issue. So what do you think the Malwish want the bands for? Because we never get a resolution on that, as stated.
I mean, I have no idea what the Melwish would want these now drained bands.
Maybe they want to manufacture more of those like medallions because they don't have like all the compatibility for it, right?
Hmm. So the governor then comes over, and Steris is glad he stayed, as it had helped her get people moving much quicker. He mentions that they don't have much time, as a warship has left Bilming. Steris gestures for Reddy to come join the conversation, and he states that just one warship isn't bad. However, Steris instantly realizes that the warship likely has the bomb, which she says to the governor. She says to the governor, Tensoon and Reddy. Steris also says that they likely would have planned for them to try to stop the ship, so it likely won't stop the bomb. The governor assumes Wax has failed them, and Steris glances around at the people at the station, who only reflected a fraction of the people still in the city. The governor begins saying that they need to leave now, but Steris insists that Wax will stop the ship. She then flips through her book to disasters regarding offshore earthquakes and states that they need to start evacuating the areas closest to the bay, as there may be a tsunami if Wax can't completely stop the bomb, but only detonate it out into the ocean. The governor asks how she can know that Wax won't fail, and she replies that there are some things you can't plan for in life, but she does know that Wax will always be there when he needs to be. So what do you think about Steris being so ready for literally any type of natural disaster?
It wasn't surprising. It was expected, especially with what she's portrayed the whole fucking like
Right?
era.
Mm-hmm. Were you just expecting it as well? I think you're like, yeah, of course she has plans ready for a tsunami and an offshore earthquake.
Of course, she has plans in general. Yeah.
So chapter 68, we switch to Marassi's point of view as she climbs up into the observation room with Armal and the others. Entron's soldiers had backed down when Entron got captured. As she opens the hatch to the observation chamber, she notices the movie of the ash falling over the fake Elendel is playing, likely triggered by the hatch being opened. She soon finds the projector room, allowing the women to inspect it for a moment before opening a door into a warehouse that leads into the city of Bilming. Armal and the other women stare at it in wonder, and Armal asks if Marassi has enjoyed the life she has had up here for the last 7 years. She thinks that she's done well in her career and spent a lot of time with Alec. However, she wonders if it is everything she's wanted to do. She also thinks that she could have saved these women earlier if she had known about the Ghostbloods and that they had also been working on it. They could have shared information. She then glances up to see a bright light at the top of Shaw Tower, which suddenly goes out. So what do you think about Marassi not liking that the Ghostbloods kept this information from her and the other constables?
She seems like, she really enjoys telling people things.
Personally, I like it. I like the fact that she's like standing up for what she believes that other people should know, and not just working in the background while helping them.
Yeah, she's like, look at all the good that could be done if you guys just like shared information with us. So chapter 69, we switch to the point of view of a man named Weled, as he decides he hates the ocean. He's on a ship that's heading to Ellendale from Bilming, which he figures is the safest job there was, because at least he had a big ship to protect him. However, he hears strange noises coming from the water and air, making him turn on his lantern for a moment. He is quickly reprimanded by Gabria, who is a more senior sailor. Gabria tells him that they aren't to have any light unless it's an emergency. Well, then asks Gabria what she'll do with her reward once they drop off the payload in Ellendale. Gabria seems uncomfortable and stays quiet for a bit before saying she isn't in it for the reward, and awkwardly agrees about them going back to Bilming afterwards. She then leaves after reminding him to keep the lantern shielded again. Willa just thinks that he isn't as diligent about this Trell stuff as the others are. He then hears another noise and leans over the railing to look down. So what do you think about Wella just not knowing he's on a suicide mission?
Well, I don't think he would have gone if he knew he was on a suicide mission.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, so.
Everyone else seems to know.
He sticks through it all the way to the end, you know?
He's like, oh yeah, this big reward we're gonna get. She's like, yeah, a reward. Right.
Real big.
Sure we are, buddy. Back to Bilming after this. Poor Weled. Suddenly a hand...
Said, yep. Poor that guy.
Suddenly a hand appears out of the darkness and a dark figure climbs up onto the ship. Weled thinks it's a mist wraith. He screams and throws up the lantern's shade to reveal that it is not a myth wraith, but instead it's Wax. Wayne climbs up onto the deck as well. Gabria comes back, ready to yell at Weled, but instead gasps in shock as she sees Wax and Wayne. Wax then reveals he has pounded a spike through his shirt and into his chest. So yeah, were you surprised to see Wax and Wayne at the boat so quickly?
No, not really. They seem to do feats of grandeur quite easily.
How the fuck did they get there?
Duralumin steel push was how.
So weird.
Yeah, they spiked themselves, you know?
Yep.
Bam!
So we switch to Telson's point of view as she regains consciousness. She feels much more mortal than usual and wonders what has happened. Autonomy tells her that she is failing. Telson thinks this isn't possible, but one of her engineers tells her that Wax and Wayne took the non-trillium spikes from the two fakes, including the one using Duralumin. Telson realizes that the bent metal all around her is from a Duralumin-enhanced steel push. Autonomy again says that Telson has failed, and Telson can feel her connection to Autonomy dwindling. Telson insists to Autonomy that Wax cannot stop the bomb, even if he gets to it, but Autonomy just says that they will see. So yeah, what did you think about Wax and Wayne spiking themselves?
I mean, hey, there was not really anything else you could do. Honestly, probably the only thing they could do.
I mean, it also makes sense, because, like, you're not just trying to be part of one set of stays.
I think it's not just that. I think it was probably like, Wax is like, the only way I can get to the ship in time is literally to push myself there, but a normal push won't do it. There was a Duralumin spike. Fuck it, I'm using it.
How do they know it's a Duralumin spike, though?
Because they knew the one guy had Duralumin. It's from the fake Wax. Remember, they knew he had a Duralumin.
Yeah, but he has more than one spike.
Yeah, they probably dug them all out and probably, like, asked Harmony which one was which. Or he's studied the book from Marsh enough to know what they look like. Because he says he knows exactly where to spike them, so I think, because, like, each different spot, potentially, is for a different, like, ability, so he's probably like, okay, this spike has to be the Duralumin one, because that's where you spike people for Duralumin.
And you can't heal from being spiked, right?
I believe Marsh implies later that certain spikes taking them out will kill you, depending on their placement, and certain spikes you can probably get away with taking out. Because in the very last epilogue, Wax is like, I wonder if I should get rid of the spike, and Marsh is like, it depends where it is. Is basically what he says. He's like, maybe. Maybe you can. I think if you're, like, spiked, like, the ones in your, like, through your head or, like, one through your heart or something,
yeah,
I think those ones would probably kill you. I think if you're just spiked, like, in, like, the stomach or in the arm, you're probably fine.
Yeah, just pull the spike out. You'll be fine. Totally. Absolutely no issue there.
Probably also, I mean, you obviously need some medical attention, but, like, it wouldn't automatically kill you.
Nah, just rip it out.
Probably also depends how big the spike is.
I mean, technically,
the size really matters. Is this Midnight's way of saying size matters?
Wow. Yeah, I think I might have shown this to you guys before, but this is like where all of the places you can be spiked
Yeah, you
are.
showed me that.
Yeah. So like the ones in like your arms and legs you can probably pull out pretty easily.
Yeah,
But like those like
totally.
the two in the head and the three middle ones probably would be a bit rough.
Man.
Oh, that one would hurt. Oh.
I think they all are supposed to hurt.
Yeah, no, but I feel like
why don't they
the
put
three
one
at the
in
bottom
there?
would hurt more.
Yeah. Why don't they put one in their Achilles tendon, man? That would probably work real well.
Nope, they only go down as far as lower leg, apparently. But yeah, so we switch to Wax's point of view as he downs a vial of metal flakes. As he considers the jump over here, Wayne throws some bullets into the air and pushes them at the female sailor who had taken out a gun. Wayne then tells Wax his powers are super easy, which makes Wax way less impressive than Wayne thought. Wax then points his gun at the male sailor as Harmony tells Wax that using the spikes isn't blasphemous, but just a form of recycling. Wax then demands that the sailor tell him where the bomb is.
Not wrong. Said not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the one who killed people for them.
Yeah,
You're just using them that's
exactly.
already there.
Yeah, you're just taking what you took out of somebody else. I mean, technically they did kill somebody for it, but those people were also trying to kill them. So
yeah, I mean,
kind of works out.
Yes. So Wax demands to be told where the bomb is, and the man replies that the payload is at the bottom of the ship, but if he isn't careful, he could blow the whole ship up. Wayne tells him that he should get off the ship. So the man frantically looks around before jumping off the ship with his lantern. So yeah, what did you think about Wayne specifically wanting the spike that gave him the same power as Wax?
I mean, he wanted to know what his friend, goes through on a daily basis, I guess.
He's like, I don't need any of these spikes, but I want the same power as you, just because.
Just because I want to know. No other reason.
To be fair, if he had survived this, like, being able to push bullets away from yourself and have healing abilities would be, like, super great.
Right?
He'd be injured way less, so his gold would take him much farther.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's also rich, so he could probably just buy more gold.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem with Farrakhan is you need to, like, spend time doing it. It's not just, like, consume it and you're good type thing.
So spend a couple of years and you'll, be all good.
So hearing more sailors coming, Wax hurries to the door that the sailor had pointed to. He's easily able to fly down the stairs.
What happens when you store health? You just,
you get
weaker?
sick. You get really sick. Like, he gets like a stiff. He says he gets like headaches and like a sniffly nose and like just feels generally lethargic.
Bro ain't trying hard enough then if he's only getting a headache and a sniffle.
I think you can choose like the degree to which you're sick. So I think he tends to like go around a lot, like a little bit sick.
Would it go faster?
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, like I'd give myself cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
I'm not sure he gets to choose what happens. I think he can just choose, like, I'm gonna really fucking store some health right now, and then he's just, like, bedridden. Or he could be like, I'm gonna store a little bit of health and just have, like, go around with a headache and a sniffly nose.
Well, just be bedridden for a year, and then you'll never die. You'll be 100 lives again.
This hemalurgic chart thingy that you sent,
it
technically says that there's, like, hundreds of other ways to, like, spike it. But this is just the Inquisitor way.
Yeah. So, like, there's other places, but, like, these are the general areas. Because, like, the using other spikes is how they make Chondras and Kolos and stuff, right? So, like, these ones are how you spike a human and keep them mostly human. If you spike them in other places, you'll make other hemalurgic monstrosities.
Like the ones we saw. Like the things, right?
Yeah, but I think they also said, like, sometimes if you just spike someone wrong, like, it just doesn't work and could kill them. Because I think they say, like, it's really hard to make, like, an actual hemalurgic creature without, like, without having, like, the foresight of a god, basically.
Which we didn't even get that much info on those creatures, too, right?
No, we just know that the set was probably experimenting a bunch, and they obviously, like, spiked humans in a non-Inquisitor way, and it turned them very animalistic.
This is annoying.
But yeah, so hearing more sailors coming, Wax hurries to the door that the sailor had pointed to. He's easily able to fly down the stairs with the whole ship being metal. Wayne, however, is not so graceful and lands clunkily near him, claiming this part of using steel was much harder. He also asks if Wax is sure he put the spike in the right place, and Wax replies that Wayne would be in a lot of pain if he'd done it wrong. On their way down further, they have to shoot a few sailors with guns before finally getting to the munitions room. Wayne quickly determines that the bomb has dead man switches with 3 different detonating points. Harmony confirms this partially, but also says it's even more complicated than Wayne thought. Harmony then begins speaking so that Wayne can also hear him, mentioning the bomb seems much stronger than autonomy and the set likely expected. Harmony is concerned that it could be strong enough to set the atmosphere on fire, or at least take out several cities in the basin. He says that they cannot detonate it, but he also can't see a way to stop it from detonating. Wax thinks that the only option is to get the ship as far from civilization as possible. So what do you think about how fucking strong this bomb is that they've made?
Atomic level, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
They state how it would like rip them apart and shit by molecules or some shit, right?
Yeah, it would like basically like atomize them.
Yeah, I was like, well, definitely not surviving that one, Wayne.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was any hope
Somehow
of
he
him
does,
surviving.
you know. Yeah, I was like, and then I was like, somehow he does. I watch.
Nope.
My man fell from goddamn grace and broke his entire body, but no, he's all good.
He becomes one with the mist.
Yeah, I mean,
Make
if
armor out
anybody,
of harmonium.
if anybody could survive being spiked in those like certain areas, it would be Wayne.
So then we move to chapter 70, and we switch back to Steris' point of view as she feels she doesn't have enough time, but tries not to panic. She leaves Reddy in charge of the main evacuation of the city, while she and the governor head to the docks. She had previously wanted people to leave by boats, but that wasn't safe anymore because of the bomb coming by a ship. Instead, she wanted to get all of the people that had crowded to the docks away from the docks. As the governor begins speaking to the dock workers, Steris gets out her notebooks to continue planning. A group of 8 men and women approach Steris, but before they can mention where they are from, the governor comes back with some other men. Steris begins giving instructions to the men the governor brings over, including handing out notes with evacuation plans. The governor is extremely impressed and tells Steris that her skills have been wasted. Steris is surprised to find she actually feels appreciated, as it was rare from anyone other than Wax and Marassi. She continues giving instructions, mentioning sinking the ships that are in the bay, although one of the workers mentions that it might take hours, which Steris thinks won't work. So what do you think about Steris finally being appreciated from people outside of her family?
It's about time people stop being stupid.
Steris is like, is this what it feels like to be appreciated?
You'll be late someday, Midnight.
Wow. I see how it is. The 8 people then make themselves known to Steris again. They confirm with the governor that they can sink the ships before leaving with steel pushes to go sink the ships much faster than the dock workers. The last one also mentions to Steris they are here on behalf of her sister. Steris thinks that she is doing all she could, and she just hopes that Wax can stop the bomb. So what do you think about the Ghostbloods sending a bunch of Allomancers to help Steris?
The reaction that she put, I mean, I guess, like, whatever. Because she was like, oh wow, need Allomancers, okay, go help.
She probably thinks that they're like constable connections or something. She doesn't understand like who's come to help her. There's like, yeah, your sister sends her regards. And she's like, oh, okay, cool, constables.
Yeah, wonderful.
Definitely not people from a secret society.
Yeah, I mean, who knows that secret society aside from them, so.
Do they mean her cousin?
Yeah, definitely her cousin, not her half-sister. So we then go to chapter 71, where we switch to Wayne's point of view as he and Wax go over the whole ship, trying to get rid of all the sailors, after locking the bomb room again. They also found a few people who decide to take their own lives instead of being taken in by Wax and Wayne. However, they soon discover that the ship is locked into its course towards Ellendale and is rigged to explode the bomb if it's stopped or diverted. Wayne also notices they are getting close to Ellendale, and Harmony replies they only have 20 minutes until they arrive there. Wax says they need to try to defuse the bomb. Wayne, however, announces that he has a better plan than trying to defuse the bomb. He suggests using speed bubbles to keep the bomb from detonating while they defuse the bombs individually using water. Wax, however, thinks that this won't work because of how fast electricity moves, although Harmony says he knows of a way to make it work. He has them bring out a special vial of metal flakes with a red cap, which Wayne has as he traded Wax for it earlier. Wax, however, brings up that water will still cause an explosion, and Wayne replies that he just needed confirmation the idea will work, and that he doesn't need Wax before pushing Wax off of the ship. So what do you think about Wayne deciding to take Wax's place as the hero and save his life in the process?
I mean, yeah.
The hero of ages?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We all knew Wayne was the hero of ages.
So Harmony then explains to Wayne that the special vial has some lerasium in it that Wax somehow made, although he isn't sure how. He also thinks Wax might have inhaled a little bit of it, which Wayne thinks makes sense. Harmony explains that if Wayne becomes a Mistborn, he'll be able to use duralumin mixed with his Bendalloy to make even faster speed bubbles. Harmony then says it'll depend on how much Bendalloy Wayne has, which Wayne has 17 pouches, as he is very rich now.
Right.
Harmony says that'll definitely be enough.
This man is just insane. He's just like, I'm gonna pull it out of all these little nooks
like
and crannies.
in his sock and in like different pockets, probably under his hat.
Which one? Which hat?
Every hat. So what do you think about the fact that Wax did make Lerasium when splitting Harmonium and Trellium?
I mean, sounds like he's got some skills.
What do you think, Darkness, about the fact that you can apparently split Harmonium?
It pisses me off that they didn't fucking realize that earlier.
Harmony apparently kept it from them because he bottled it up. He was like,
That's not surprising.
He's like, oh yeah, you guys definitely can't make Lerasium. La 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 la. Let me just put this dust into a vial.
There's like conjures like sweeping in the background.
Yeah, they're just sweeping up and just like instead of they like pretend to dump the dustpan in the trash, and instead of dumping it into a vial, there's just like dust particles in there and like hair and stuff as well. So Wayne then grabs a canteen off one of the bodies and begins swallowing copious amounts of Bendalloy while running back down towards the room the bomb is in. Wayne takes out a couple guys trying to get into the bomb room before unlocking the door and going in himself. Harmony then appears next to him, along with a shadow version of himself. Wayne says it should be Wax doing this, but Harmony replies that no one has practiced more with speed bubbles than Wayne. Wayne is the only one who could do this properly. Wayne begins to feel a bit better about himself, as Harmony agrees that Wax should survive and he will do his best to preserve him. He also says that any other possibilities to stop the bomb are highly unlikely. Wayne agrees he is the hero, and then asks for Harmony's hat. Harmony is confused, but touches Wayne's head, and some earrings and such form on his ears. Wayne then takes on Harmony's accent and mannerisms before telling Harmony that he's starting.
So man is a fucking conjurer.
So what do you think about Wayne wanting Harmony's hat in order to figure out how to make the perfect speed bubble?
I thought he was just gonna be like, I need your hat, and then he was gonna become a fucking god. Like, fuck being an Allomancer. Fuck it. Or a Mistborn, sorry. Fuck being a Mistborn. I'll just be a god.
So we briefly switch to Marassi as she walks through Belming, feeling that the mists are somehow holding their breath. We also then briefly switch to Steris as she feels like something is happening. She grips her spear necklace as she stares out at the bay. We then switch back to Wayne's point of view as he makes a perfect speed bubble, sculpted to hold the bomb but not the parts that would cause the detonation. He then pushes with the Duralumin and Bendalloy, pushing on reality itself. He pushes so hard that Harmony even freezes, and Wayne finds that his eyesight goes weird, so he uses Steel Sight to see instead. Wayne then begins pouring water into the bombs before excluding them from the speed bubble. He can see the crystalline version of his speed bubble beginning to crack as the explosions freeze just outside of it. His bubble then bursts and everything becomes red light and fire. So what did you think about Wayne's like fucking super incredible speed bubble there at the end?
The man went supersonic, said, oh, my eyes no longer work. I'm just gonna use another fucking thing to make my eyes work.
Yeah.
Like, your eyes probably liquefied in your skull moving fast.
He made such a strong speed bubble that it like crystallized.
Jesus Christ.
He stopped God. He slowed down God. He was going so fast.
I think he just slowed it down to his own perspective, but yeah. He was going so fast himself that he didn't notice that God was moving anymore.
So we get chapter 72, where we switch to Wax's point of view as he struggles in the water before an explosion goes off to his right. As he glances over, he thinks he sees a figure standing between him and the shockwave. Debris falls around him as he continues struggling to swim, and he thinks that he broke his leg. He calls Wayne infuriating and amazing as he thanks him. Just as Wax was starting to sink into the water and give up, Hoyd shows up on a small boat with a lantern to pick him up.
Where'd you come from? Oh, man.
So what do you think about Harmony protecting Wax from the shockwave?
Crazy. Mister, I don't take sides.
Okay, but he couldn't protect Wayne.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Wayne might have been a little too close to the explosion.
No. For a god? No.
No, I mean, he does kind of state that he has his limits later, so.
He's becoming impotent, as Telson would say.
Impotent, yeah.
Also, what did you think about Hoyd showing up to save Wax from drowning?
The man just shows up everywhere. You know?
That was unexpected to me. I was like, I completely forgot about him.
I didn't forget about Hoyd.
He's like, hey, I heard you need a ride.
Where'd you hear that? Oh, a little Barty told me.
So let me get
just seem to have an odd sensation to be in the places that I need to be in.
Yep, don't worry about it.
It's not a power or anything. Don't worry about that.
So we get chapter 73, where we switch back to Steris' point of view as the shockwave hits her. She and the governor were on top of a building far into the center of the city, where one of the Allomancers had dropped them off. The windows of the building they were on shake before everything goes quiet. The governor cheers as he says Wax has done it, but Steris now worries about Wax being on the ship when it exploded. The governor asks if the tsunami will come, and Steris says it will, as she watches the water begin to pull back from the docks. Steris thinks that he's actually a pretty good man. She then again thinks she hopes Wax is safe. So yeah, what did you think about Steris and the governor being saved by the Ghostblood Allomancers? They brought them up to a building so they'd be away from the tsunami.
I mean, that's her job. I'm not surprised. If they gave her the information, maybe she would have planned better. But no, they don't want to give information.
Oh my god, imagine Steris as a Ghostblood.
I'm surprised they don't want her. Like, the fuck?
Nah, she's not. She's not as she's noticeable.
What do you mean Merassi's more noticeable than Steris?
Nah, Merassi's kind of been put to the wayside too much.
So then we get chapter 74, where we switch to Wayne's point of view as he floats as just a spirit above the planet, with Harmony next to him. Wayne is a bit worried he's going to be a ghost, but Harmony assures him that he will move on to the Beyond soon. He's just staying a bit longer since he was invested when he died. Wayne is glad for that, because he does not want to be a ghost. He's not a fan of them. Harmony also mentions...
Which apparently not.
Harmony also mentions that autonomy likely overextended to try to get control quickly of the planet, so she seems to be retreating for now. Although Harmony doesn't think they'll be left alone forever. Wayne is also very excited that he saved the whole world and says that he was the best constable that ever lived. Harmony reluctantly agrees since neither Vin nor Elend were constables. What do you think about autonomy potentially coming back in the future?
I mean, I feel like it's just what's the word? A reoccurring
antagonist.
Yeah. Reoccurring antagonist. Even if they don't show up in the next book, they'll still be a looming threat.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Darkness?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if I were her, I would take my second chance as soon as they start fighting with himself.
So Wayne then begins to feel himself stretching away towards the Beyond. Harmony asks if there's anything Wayne wants to know before he goes, and at first Wayne wants to know if Meilon was being honest when she said he was the best lay she ever had. Although Harmony says that Wayne is ruining the moment, so instead Wayne asks...
No, he doesn't. He says, do you remember what she said?
Yeah, he says...
And he goes, oh yeah, don't be skeevy. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to know the answer to this question now, too.
But yeah, so Wayne then instead asks if it was the biggest explosion a person has ever made. Harmony agrees it was, and Wayne says to make sure that Steris knows, and to make sure she also knows that he specifically made it a smaller explosion, and yet it was still the biggest explosion a person has ever made. Wayne then is pulled into the Beyond. So what do you think about Wayne being happy to move on to the Beyond, not wanting to stick around?
I mean, he's a Khandra. He's lived for way too long.
Maybe he'll see his mom.
Maybe he will see his mom.
Yeah, maybe she'll tell him a story.
About Allomancer Jack?
Hopefully not. Hopefully that guy's not in the Beyond.
He's not, but she can still talk about him.
No, I mean, like, never mentioned again, ever.
No, the whole Beyond, all they talk about is Allomancer Jack stories. And then we get our epilogues. So we start with Epilogue 1, which is Merassi 10 hours after detonation. So we switch to Merassi's point of view as she gets off a train in Elendel as the sun is rising. The train had been packed with people coming to help Elendel, people coming to check on their friends and family, and people coming back from the evacuation. She had left the mayor of Bilming and all of the rest of everything in the hands of the constable she had met during the raid on the Set warehouse. She felt wrong leaving Bilming in the hands of the constables there, but she didn't have much other choice. Marassi just hoped that the testimonies of the captives and the other evidence collected would be enough for them to not let the mayor take over again. Taliesin had also been found with words written into her arm stating, "You have proven yourselves for now." So what do you think about Autonomy's last message to them?
What was the last message?
You have proven yourselves for now.
I mean, that just cements that she's coming back.
Exactly. Or that they at least has a plan to come back.
Mm-hmm. So Alec rushes to Marassi and pulls her into a hug as he lifts his mask. Marassi can tell he has been crying, but it wasn't directly for her, but because Wayne had died. Marassi is in shock, thinking it was impossible. He confirms Wax is alright besides his leg, but that Wayne had been the one to blow the bomb up and save them. Marassi is still in shock as Alec brings her away from the train station to get some baked goods. We then move forward an hour in time as Marassi is snuggled up on an armchair in her apartment, wearing her constable's outfit. Alec had gone out to get some wine, and Marassi was home alone when a messenger girl drops off a letter to her from the Ghostbloods. All it had on it was their symbol and an address. She made sure she was presentable and left a note for Alec before leaving, heading towards the city she loved until she got to a fancy-looking building with stained glass windows and manicured gardens. She was quickly ushered inside without even needing to knock. So what do you think about Marassi specifically choosing to go in her constable uniform before going to see the Ghostbloods?
I mean, definitely a way to say that, this is who I am.
What do you think, Darkness?
Yeah, I feel like she made up her mind even before she stepped in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So Marassi is brought into a dark room where she soon notices Kelsier sitting in a chair on the far side of the room. She finds herself unable to speak, but when Twinsel enters, she is quick to hug him. She mentions Moonlight, and Twinsel says they already know about it. Kelsier replies that she will be hard, if not impossible, to recover. Marassi asks if he would have rather had the city bombed, and he just smiles in response. Twinsel then officially invites Marassi to the Ghostbloods. So what do you think about the fact that Moonlight's going to be hard to recover? Do you think that means that she's already, back on her original planet?
No, I think she's going to be hard to recover because they can't turn her back.
Yeah, I agree.
You think she's some random Elantrian flying around on Scadrial?
We're going to see that in the spreadsheets.
The broadsheets, you mean?
That.
The spreadsheets. I'm just thinking of Excel. So before Marassi makes a decision, she asks how long they knew about the set and what was happening. Twinsel says they don't give answers until she has said oaths to them. Marassi then asks if they at least told Harmony, and Kelsey replies that Sage had been erratic lately. He says that they are too small to work out in the open, as other forces in the Cosmere would crush them. Marassi then states her job as a constable is to work for the people and not to deal with lies and darkness. See, Marassi doesn't want to deal with you, Darkness.
Who does, to be honest?
She places the Ghostblood card on a table and says that she isn't certain, but her job isn't to be certain, but to do the best she can with the information she has access to. Marassi then states she works for the government, which Kelsier has historically had issues with. She also states she cannot hide the truth from people when it could help them. She does say she would accept help from them again in the future, though. Marassi then shakes hands with Twinsel and says she'll help him with Moonlight if he would still like her to, before leaving the building. She thinks she can find answers on her own without their help. She knew what she really wanted now. So what did you think about Marassi choosing not to join the Ghostbloods?
Well, I mean, until later when they her with a revelation of what's going on, I was a little disappointed. But
you're happy with what she plans to do in the future, though?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously by my name, yeah.
So what did you think, Darkness? Were you expecting Marassi to not join the Ghostbloods? Do you think that was a good choice for her?
Yeah, I do believe so. Simply because she seems to be more comfortable, helping out her way.
Mm-hmm. So we switch to Twinsel's point of view as he watches Marassi leave. Delaval comes out from the shadows from behind Kelsier's chair, a masked man, but with a Silverlight accent instead of a southern Scadrian one. He says that Marassi will need to be dealt with, but Twinsel says he will not allow harm to come to her. Kelsier also agrees that Marassi did not learn more than what someone could from just learning about the Cosmere in general, although they needed to move their base now. Twinsel doesn't like that he can't see Delaval's expression, as his mask is basically fused with his skin, just like his sisters, who ran amok on Roshar. Kelsier again insists that Delaval won't do anything to Marassi. He then mentions that something is wrong with Sazed, and he needs to go have a conversation with him. What do you think about meeting Eotil's brother, apparently?
Who the fuck is Yenta?
The Southern Scadrian on Roshar. That's like mentoring Mraize and Shallan. So also by the running amok on Roshar sounds like Twin Soul at least is not a fan of what the Rosharan branch of the Ghostbloods are doing. Also, what do you think about Twin Soul and Kelsier making sure Delaval doesn't go after Marassi and kill her? Because apparently he wants to take her out. He's like, she knows too much. I must kill her.
And she does know too much. She's not wrong.
Kelsier and Twins are like, you will not kill her, Delaval. And he's like, fine. Like, pouting in the corner.
Why not? I want to.
You never let me kill anyone.
You wouldn't be able to do it even if they allowed you. Marassi's too good.
Yep. So then we move to Epilogue 2, which is Steris 2 days after detonation. So Steris is helping Wax out of a car as he finally comes home after his time in the hospital. Wax looks up at their home in a skyscraper and states that Wayne had insisted on getting a spike, but if Wax hadn't let him, he wouldn't have been pushed away from the ship. Steris just says that Wax would have just died with him then. She can see a similar pain in his eyes as he had when Leslie had died. She briefly looks at some notes she had taken from a therapy book and tells Wax he needs to accept that Wayne made his own choice, one that Wax would have made in the same situation. Wax says that she's right. So what do you think about Wax losing another person?
I said, of course she's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wax has lost another person that he was extremely close to.
You're so right. He should start killing them himself.
Damn. I mean, he did with Leslie. He's 50-50 on that. So Wax then gives Steris his crutches before pushing them up to the top of the skyscraper where their penthouse is. Steris then gives a Wayne quote that she had collected to remember him, which Wax approves of because he knows Wayne would like it. He then grabs her and kisses her. They then head inside where the nanny is already back.
That is not how it is said in the book.
He grabs her butt and then kisses her.
He does a lot more, okay? It says a lot more than...
I mean, it
insinuates it. I don't know. It insinuates it that they meld together, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And I don't know. I felt like Brandon was definitely there was a lot more in there than what you just said.
Anyways, they head inside where the nanny is already back.
Anyways, okay.
Wax eagerly hugs his children as Max states that Wax saved the world. Wax replies that he had help from Wayne. Max also says that girls are gross, except for Steris because she's a mom and not a girl.
No. This man said, straight up, no, she's not a girl, she's a mom. And then my thought immediately went to, wait, does this mean that you're saying that you like moms?
No, he's just saying he doesn't dislike his mom because she's not a girl.
I don't know. I feel like he's saying he's a MILF.
He's like 5.
I mean, he's talking about women. He obviously seems to, know a little.
5.
So?
He's 5. The nanny then hands Steris a letter that had come from her. For her. Steris is extremely nervous about getting a letter from the governor, but instead of it being something she feared, it was instead a request for her to join the government as a disaster preparations officer. Steris is actually very excited for it, and as Wax reads the letter over her shoulder, he tells her it's wonderful and that she deserves it. Wax then says he has an idea to commemorate Wayne. What do you think about Steris getting an official job related to her disaster prepping?
I mean, she definitely needed it.
Now they want her? Yeah, right. I wouldn't be surprised if she still got that's not even a real job type shit.
Then we have Epilogue 3, which is Alriandre, 5 days after detonation. So she's coming back from her job at the Forges to hear her nanny/landlord yelling at her 3-year-old daughter. Alriandre hurries up into her apartment on the 7th floor and picks up her daughter, thanking the landlord for taking care of her. The woman asks Alriandre for rent, but she doesn't have it as Wayne hasn't been by yet. The woman leaves, and Alriandre thinks that she is in debt to bad people and also made a mistake which resulted in her daughter. What do you think about the fact that Alriandre's life seems to have gone really far downhill since we last saw her?
Motherfucker, she's living off of Wayne's money and yet telling him, "Nah, don't give me more money." Like, what are you, woman?
No, she's saying, don't come in person. Give me money. Just don't come to me in person.
No, definitely said stop. Just in general, stop.
I didn't even remember her at the beginning of her chapter.
I didn't either until she said, "Oh man, where's this where's my money? I've been waiting for it. And then I'm like, this is not this bitch, is it really? Like, a woman who literally stated, stop doing that? Come on.
So two men then knock on Ariandra's door. She reluctantly lets them in, as she says she doesn't have any money for them, and asks them not to hurt her daughter. They insist they aren't who she thinks they are. Instead, they tell her they're here on Wayne's behalf. Ariandra is glad that he finally agreed to stop coming in person, however she's shocked when she hears that he's dead. The men then explain that she is the primary beneficiary of his estate, which is around 120 million boxings. Ariandra thinks that her debts from her failed art studio only make up 10,000. The men go over how most of Wayne's money was in investments and that there are about 500,000 boxings that go to other individuals besides her. Ariandra thinks that she can finally help her family move to Ellendale and live the life she had always wanted for them. Wayne had also left a stained note that just said sorry. So what do you think about the fact that Wayne left the majority of his money to Ariandra?
I mean, it doesn't shock me at all. He's even in death, he's still giving her fucking everything for his one mistake.
I mean, yeah, he listened like that fucking sort of give me forgiveness, I have regrets type mindset, so it's not surprising.
And then we get Epilogue 4, Kelsier, 3 weeks after detonation. So we switch to Kelsier's point of view as he stands on top of a skyscraper that would make the keeps of Luthadel look tiny. Kelsier sees the world as a mortal through his one eye and as a god does through his spiked eye, which also keeps his soul attached to his bones. As he looks up at the night sky, he thinks that every star, every planet, is a potential threat. Sazed then shows up without his dark double that represents his other self. Sazed tells Kelsier that Marsh will live on, as apparently splitting harmonium with Babadinium properly splits it. Although
Great metal name.
Well, because they did it based on her name, because Babadin is the name of Autonomy's vessel. Although the Laurasium is used up in the explosion, but some atium dust is left over. Kelsier is annoyed with that, because even if the Laurasium may not work for him, he thinks they need proper Allomancers again to protect Scadrial. Sage asks if Kelsier agrees with the set, and Kelsier doesn't respond, thinking that he sort of does, but also doesn't agree with using good innocent people for hemalurgy. Sage just states that even breeding people for allomancy is sick. So what do you think about the fact that Sage's dark shadow is sometimes around and sometimes not?
That's Discord.
What do you think, Mythic?
I mean, I definitely think it's something relating to his his shattering. Yeah, his breaking apart between his two godly powers.
So also, what do you think about the fact that Harmony is lying to Kelsier about there being no new Laurasium? He's like, yeah, no, you definitely can't make Laurasium from splitting Harmonium. Just straight up lying to Kelsier here.
Because we all know Kelsier would do it. Try it and, get himself back to being Mistborn.
Well, he says apparently he can't make himself a Mistborn with Laurasium.
Yeah, well, he says that, but, he also stated that Laurasium can't be made, so...
To be fair, Kelsier has also been talking shit to him about him, so...
Yeah. They're not on as good of terms as they used to be. So Kelsier replies that preservation and ruin shouldn't have given powers to only specific people genetically. He wanted to give allomancy to everyone using Laurasium, but apparently that wasn't possible at the moment. Kelsier also has hope that he can finally have allomancy again, even though neither Laurasium nor hemalurgy will work for him. All hemalurgy will do for him is allow him to have a physical body. So what do you think about Kelsier wanting everyone to have allomancy?
I think it's
equality for all.
Yeah, definitely need something then.
Kelsier then goes on about how Sazed let things get too far with autonomy, that he should have stopped it years ago. Sazed disagrees, saying he had things handled. Which, sure you did, buddy. Kelsier suggests Sazed reaching out to people on other planets for potential help, but he doesn't like the idea of using Shadesmar for it, as he thinks it's unreliable. Kelsier then says that Sazed needs to help the people of the basin advance faster, like autonomy does, but Sazed insists that humans need to figure things out on their own. Kelsier, however, insists that they need it, and Sazed replies that he will consider it. Kelsier again asks Sazed if there is anything he can do to increase the amount of allomancers and feruchemists, and Sazed replies he doesn't know. Kelsier asks if Sazed is lying, and Sazed just asks Kelsier if he's ever lied to him before. Kelsier then says he will protect Scadrial no matter what, and asks if he's going to have to protect the Scadrians from Sazed. Sage just replies that it will depend on
Yes.
Calcier. So yeah, do you think that Sage and Calcier might be enemies in the next Mistborn era?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. I don't feel like that's what it's gonna be. I have a different theory here.
I'm assuming you're gonna wait till the
Get
end
to it.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you give me your theories on what you
Discord?
think so
Yep.
I can then compare and then we'll
Alright. Epilogue 5. Renette, 6 months after detonation. So we switch to Renette's point of view as she gets back from her honeymoon in the Malwish lands, which had been too relaxing and didn't have any guns. Her wife, Jaxie, however, states that Renette did enjoy it. Renette reluctantly agrees, but says she would have preferred to go to the Roughs for their honeymoon. Their car then drives to Renette's shop, which had been renovated and expanded upon during the time they had been gone. Renette is shocked, and Jaxie explains that Wayne had left Renette some money to do something nice for her in a non-skeevy way. Jaxie then gives Renette a letter written in crayon from Wayne. It mentions that Wayne had been told he had to write down his will as he had a high-risk job. Wayne says he hopes it was Marassi's fault that he died, and that Renette should build something nice with the money he left her. Renette mentions that she does miss Wayne. She also thinks that he had become her friend after he had stopped flirting with her all the time. So what do you think of the fact that what do you think about what Jaxie did for Renette with the money Renette was left by Wayne?
What the fuck did you just ask? Holy shit.
What do you think about Jaxie using the money from Wayne to, like, expand Renette's shop?
I mean, that's valid. You know, she's like a weapons goddess or whatever.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Mythic, about Renette's shop getting expanded upon?
I mean it was definitely definitely a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she'll make a lot of weapons.
And then we get Epilogue 6, Melan, 19 months after detonation. So Melan watches as a glowing messenger gives her a letter before flying away from her boat that was floating on a black but transparent liquid. She asks her guide what the messengers are, and they just reply that they're an invested entity that uses connection to find people. Melan's guide is a Shodel person named Jean Ven. She has 4 arms, white skin, reptilian eyes, and hair that is thick like grass. So, what do you think about the Shodel people? This is a new race of people we haven't seen before.
They're scary.
They're interesting for sure.
Let's see if I can find a picture of what they're supposed to look like. That's not right. That doesn't have 4 arms. Is this? Nope, that also doesn't have 4 arms. Does no one have art of the Shodel? Oh, here's an image that looks kind of like it's accurate.
The fuck is that mythological creature?
It's a Shodel.
That's a Dragon Ball Z character.
Mythological creature. That's okay. Okay, whatever. That's definitely not how I expected. I mean, the forearm thing kind of.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
That looks like she'd be friends with Starfire.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that one looks better. I like that one.
Better than the fantasy aspect one. But
yeah, so that's what the Shodel kind of look like. So Melan then notes the message was passed through Silverlight and is from Harmony. It mentions that Wayne died and how. Melan is upset because she had been hoping Wayne would live a long life with someone who would appreciate him. She puts away the letter, and Jean Ven asks if they should delay their landing, but Melan says no. She sees people ahead, many with red hair, and thinks that her mission is to help these people that are lost wandering in Shadesmar. So who do you think these people are that Melan is trying to help? There's like a big group of people out here just like wandering around in Shadesmar.
They're gonna be some people from another book, like Tress or something.
What do you think, Darkness? Who are these people?
It could literally be anyone. It's all connected.
Exactly.
It's fair.
The whole Casimir connected one big.
You know what? It's gonna be one of each fucking planet.
Just a group of like a bunch of misfits from a bunch of different planets.
Right.
So Ghost Bloods.
So then we get our final epilogue, which is Waxilium 2 years after detonation. So he's standing before a bronze statue of Wayne that he had commissioned. It had a removable hat that Wax intends to change once a year, but currently it's wearing a version of Wayne's lucky hat. It was a bit away from the statues of Ben and Elend, but not too far that you couldn't see them. It also had 2 plaques with quotes, one of which was one that Wayne had specifically asked for, about shaking off the drops of piss after you piss, basically. Wax mentions to Steris that it's also able to be changed out periodically. So what do you think about the Wayne statue?
I'm better than the Vin and
Ellen one?
Ellen?
Ellen. Yeah, Ellen statues. So
They don't have removable parts. He gets to be switched
exactly.
up.
He's like a doll.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of. I wouldn't be shocked if they made an action figure of Wayne eventually.
Oh my god. The Sunni pups and the what are they gonna call him?
Just the Wayne action figure.
Yeah, exactly. The Wayne.
Nah, he wouldn't want it to just be Wayne.
So Wax then thinks about how he spent the last 2 years working on getting a proper committee for the Basin cities, and he had worked to prevent a civil war from happening. His new plan was to try to make the Roughs a proper province, although some people wanted it to be its own country. So what do you think about the Basin finally fucking uniting?
It only took essentially
Forever.
civil war and
An
Total
atomic bomb.
a
annihilation?
fucking nuke.
Yeah.
Do you think the Roughs are going to end up being their own country in the future, or are they going to be part of like the Ellendale Basin?
Well, it'd
They're
be
gonna be
cool if
their
they
own
were their
country.
own country.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely their own country.
Marassi then shows up wearing Wayne's real lucky hat, which he had left to her.
They're gonna be like Canada is to the United States.
Mm, I don't know about
Eventually,
that.
somebody will come along that says, "Hey, we need to unite this," and there'll be pushback, and it'll all work out in the end.
Huh.
Anyways, Marassi has Wayne's real lucky hat, and Wax had it first, thought Wayne left nothing to him, but had soon realized that he had left a series of directions to the men running his estate to keep putting weird items around his house and in his coat pockets.
I love that, by the way. It's so funny.
They don't really specify, but I'm assuming they're also trading things to him for it. Like, they're probably taking something from these places when they put items, because that's the most Wayne.
Yeah.
They don't specify that,
Here's
though.
my question. My question. Did Wayne just hire another person with his same powers to do this? Because
No, it
how
sounds
do
like
you
it's just
do
the
that?
random accountants are doing it. They're just, like, sneaking into Wax. He probably left them the key to Wax's house that he had. And was like, here, get into his house when he's, like,
He-
sleeping or away.
Change the locks, Wax.
I would be surprised if he left detailed plans on how to enter without fucking using a key.
Yeah, right.
He's like, if he changes the locks, you need to make sure to get new locks. Or new keys. Like, you need to be able to do this.
I know a guy.
But yeah, so most recently he had found a taxidermied frog in his coat pocket with an apologetic note about how he was supposed to be a live frog, but they couldn't bring themselves to do that. The notes were why
I don't see how a taxidermy frog is any better than a fucking live frog.
Well, I feel like it was more about. Well, I don't want to take a living creature and put it in. Then, in general, I don't think
It would have
they
been
really
alive.
cared
It's
enough.
fine.
It's a living creature.
But yeah, so these apologetic notes for why Wax was fairly sure it was the men running the estate that were leaving the items for him. Wax then asked Marassi about her packing as she was leaving for the Malwish lands as an ambassador for Ellendale. Wax mentions that he's surprised she left the constabulary, but she replies that her goal has always been to do more for the Basin. Steris says that she hopes Marassi can convince the Malwish to begin trading with them again and prevent a potential war. The Malwish were increasingly calling the Northerners chaotic and unpredictable, which had led to them stopping trade and tourism. This also meant no harmonium for the Northerners, although they had already stored a bunch of it away, including some Trellium. So what do you think about Marassi becoming an ambassador for the Basin?
I love it.
Her resume speaks for itself.
Stopped an invading god army as like top of the list. So Waxen soon realizes that Marassi's plans for the future are to run for governor. Marassi confirms this, saying her time as ambassador is to help her plan for that and also see if it's actually something she wants to do. Wax is impressed, although Steris already knew, as she had already been helping Marassi plan for the future. So do you think that Marassi will become governor?
Yeah. She has the, yeah. I mean, like, she'd make a great governor.
Imagine Steris being her vice governor too, or something like that. No one could touch them.
The amount of change compared to, like, where they used to be in the beginning of the fucking era.
Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of character growth, especially for the women. I'm assuming you assume Marassi's going to be governor, Mythic?
Yes. No, she's gonna be a dictator. She's not gonna be a governor. She's gonna be the dictator.
I see.
Hail Marassi.
Death then shows up and tells Steris he was using emotional allomancy to not be noticed when she asks how he goes around without being seen.
Bullshit.
Marassi also notes that he looks better after having some new atium to use. Marsh also calls Wax brother since he is now spiked. Wax mentions thinking about removing it, although Marsh mentions that not all of them can be removed without killing the spiked person. So do you think Marsh will return in Era 3 since he now has atium to sustain him?
What? No. Wax is gonna replace him as Death.
Damn. But Marsh is my favorite. I want Marsh to come back in Era 3.
No, Marsh becomes New Harmony.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Marsh just stays Marsh.
Yeah,
Death forever.
that's probably it, not gonna lie.
So Marsh then mentions that Harmony sends his regards to Wax. Harmony could speak to Wax directly since he was spiked, but he had promised to never do so or even watch him without permission. Wax still worries that he's just a pawn in someone else's game, though, and he's been worrying about this for a while. However, Marsh then hands him a note from Harmony that states he has heard from others that Wax has been thinking that way, and that he promised that Wax was currently making his own decisions, and that he apologizes for his part in making Wax think he wasn't. Wax tucks the card away and looks at Wayne's statue again while holding Steris' hand. So do you think Harmony is telling the truth about Wax not being a pawn anymore?
That's funny. No.
You think Wax will always be Harmony's pawn?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like Harmony is gonna have to find, or Discord's gonna have to find a new pawn soon.
So now I'll repeat the quote from, because this is another book overview, we'll repeat the quote from Mistborn the Final Empire, Chapter 8, Epigraph, which is, "He shall defend their ways, yet shall violate them. He will be their savior, yet they shall call him heretic. His name shall be Discord, yet they shall love him for it." So, the general consensus from what I've read over the years is that people think that basically Harmony and Discord are the two versions of what the combination of Preservation and Ruin could become. That you can either harmonize them nicely, like a yin-yang type thing, or they can be like completely at odds with each other. And it seems like either because of Sage's personality or because of how much Sage was interfering, he's been moving from Harmony to Discord. There's a couple theories, I think, of whether Sage is actually going to split into two different beings, or if he's going to just become Discord himself. My theory is that he's going to just become Discord. That we're going to see like a very chaotic Sage in Era 3, where he's like kind of helping people, like he's interfering a lot more, but in a very kind of unpredictable and chaotic way.
Unhinged, yeah.
Yeah, like he's gonna be very like erratic. Is the kind of like general consensus is that Era 3 is going to be the era of Discord. There's no more Harmony. Or as I said, some people think that there's going to be a split between the two, where it's going to be basically like two versions of Sage like fighting each other. But what do you guys think about Discord?
Go on, Darkness. I already wrote my shit out, so.
I mean, it's a great app, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're using it right now.
Yeah, Discord's our favorite. We don't use Harmony, we use Discord.
Personally, I'm hoping, you know what, maybe I'll like go into his religion more as soon as he changes to Discord.
I'm very excited to see what because like most of the gods we've seen have been very like they interfere, but they're not really super involved. I want to see Discord like walking the streets and like doing shit. Like I want to see him like front and center.
You don't believe in me? I am a god.
I'm also wondering if he's gonna like favor the Malwish or something.
Oh.
Like it'd be very interesting.
Oh,
if he,
and then
favors
there's
them.
gonna be like advances in technology too. So I'm assuming that he's gonna go as soon as he starts going all out. You know. He's just gonna expose everything they could do.
Yeah. So Brandon has confirmed that it's going to be very like Cold War era style in Era 3. So I'm expecting like extreme tensions between the Malwish and the Basin people, and like just like a lot of like spying and like discontent and like verge of war but not full on war type stuff. I think it'll be.
I mean, this whole fucking era was verge on war.
Sounds like a lot of Discord, if you ask me.
Right. All right, you want to go into your theory, Mythic?
Yeah, I'll just read what I wrote.
Yeah.
Ready? This honestly feels like a hidden prophecy for the Lost Metal. It perfectly fits Kelsier, and might even foreshadow Say's transforming into Discord. But Kelsier is often doing everything he can to protect Scadrial, building the Ghost Bloods, fighting off autonomy, staying ahead of threats Harmony doesn't seem to want to stop. He's literally defending the future, but violating everything Harmony stands for. Manipulation, secrecy, playing God with others' lives. Kelsier is a savior, but also a heretic at the same time, depending on who you ask. Then
Mm.
the whole Discord thing line kind of still hits me on Kelsier. Kelsier is Discord. He's chaotic, defiant, disruptive, and yet people love him for it. He's a walking contradiction that people still rally behind. But I also see that it could hint at Harmony's fall into Discord,
Mm-hmm.
which this whole book seems to have been teasing from the beginning. Seize is struggling to hold it together, and if he loses balance between ruin and preservation, he would become Discord, a god who can no longer preserve harmony, only fracture it.
Mm.
So yeah, and then yeah,
I
I put I have other parts to this, but go on.
I was gonna say I some people might have had a similar theory, but I've not read it. It'd be very interesting to see if Kelsier could almost like take on the
God.
Dark Shadow version of Sazed.
Uh-huh.
Or like become like an avatar of Harmony that is Discord somehow. Because like we've seen through Autonomy that like you can
You can
obviously
have
like either
avatars.
you can invest other people as avatars of
Mhm.
your power. So if like Sazed wants to become more harmonious, more preservation, maybe he can send more of the ruin side of himself and only a little bit of the preservation to Kelsier.
Okay. But then that led into other things
Mm-hmm.
because we were talking about the bands of mourning. And
Yes.
then I said, I think that Kelsier drained the bands of mourning.
Oh, and that's why he was in the southern continent?
Reasons
Or like
for
going
this.
around?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Here's what I know. The bands were found empty, and
Mm-hmm.
when Wax and others attempted to use them, it's not Wax, it was what's her fuck. I can't remember her name now.
Marassi.
Um,
Or no,
Thank you.
Steris.
Yeah. No, Steris. Yeah.
Steris tried to use them
There,
at the like meeting. Yeah.
yeah. There was no evidence of anything like any external tampering, for like the area or anything like that. Supposedly, Kelsier is seen actively working in shadows and was in the south at
Mm-hmm.
some point. It has been shown that Kelsier has been is known to these people as a savior slash god, so maybe he also knows where they're keeping the bands of mourning. And then I put why he probably did it. Because he had access to it was one of the reasons, but just because
Mm.
he had access to it, he helped establish them, so he probably knows where they're keeping it. He has motive because he's trying to regain his power, um, and then he has a history of not telling others his plans.
Fair.
I wonder why.
So my
But
thoughts as
yeah.
well is that I think you guys might have brought it up briefly, but didn't go into a lot of detail in it. Is I think they might have like made a fake version of the Bands of Mourning. Like I don't think those are the real Bands of Mourning. I think someone switched them out. And your theory of Kelsier being involved would be very interesting if the Malwish had the Bands of Mourning the whole time and Kelsier had been able to slip in and switch it out with like a fake replica because he obviously knew what they looked like.
Yep. I mean, it's just the what. So I was thinking back at the fact that even though I don't like that guy that came in and was like, "Hey, here's the bands of mourning. Oh, they're drained. Oh well,
Yeah, I think his
use
name's
them."
Dial
Kind
or
of thing.
something.
Yeah. Even though I don't like that guy, I thought about it and I was thinking, well, what if that's just his demeanor, his personality? What if he really is just a good he just was gonna give them the bands, didn't like it, but he is gonna do it anyways. And when he finds out, oh, that's already drained, he was also shocked, but couldn't show he was shocked because, that
I
would
think
lead into
Steris
other
thinks
things.
that he isn't shocked. I think she says that he seems to be like saying like a rehearsed line is what she says.
I mean, maybe Kelsey gave him a rehearsed line to say.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if Kelsier and like the Malwish ambassador were like on speaking terms and stuff, considering he
Well,
seems to be visiting them frequently.
But then I don't think it was you who asked, or maybe I just thought about this question in general of
Mm.
like, you did. You asked earlier about what do you think they're going to do with it, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to answer that because my thought was maybe their plan to do with it was to give it to Kelsier and let Kelsier do his thing. That
Mm.
maybe they're covering up that they've already done something with it, and so in order to do so, like they're like, oh yeah, you can use them. They give them the fake ones or the drained ones or whatever.
Yeah.
You used them. Now our turn. Like they hadn't already done it. Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, because we know that obviously with like the epilogues being skipping all the way to 2 years in the future, they obviously have a bigger long-term plan for it. They're not using them right away because it's been 2 years and they haven't used them, as at least not like openly
As far as
enough
you
that like
know.
Ellendale would have
Yeah,
known about it.
exactly. As far as you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they haven't like done like some big show with it. So if they've been using them, it's been in the background, or they're like holding them on for something specific.
Exactly. So I think they have a plot with Kelsier, and Kelsier is just using them because we even made the comment before about the fact that like you asked how do we think he could use like his abilities and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
and like, I didn't think anything about the bands of mourning being a possibility. Now that's why he could do what he did. And because and then we also found that Says is saying that even if he had Lerasium, it wouldn't help him, kind of thing. So maybe he can tap into the powers, but he can't actually possess them.
Mm-hmm. Like he could tap in, like maybe he can use those medallions that he showed the Malwish how to use, stuff like that, but he can't like, yeah, he can't like technically genetically hold it because it's not like his proper body.
Yep. Which I mean, kind of crazy.
But I also wonder because he mentions that briefly in the Kelsier epigraph, or I keep wanting to say epigraph, in the epilogue, he specifically says the hemoelectric spike holds his soul to his bones. Is he using his own bones? That's what I want to know. Like, it might not be his own flesh, but is he technically using his original skeleton?
Oh. So
Oh
what if
God.
he's? I mean,
Because his bones were around.
wait.
We don't know what happened to them.
No, wait. Didn't they have a Conjure that used his bones?
Yeah,
Briefly.
used it, right?
No,
but
Oracer used them before Tensoon took over.
That, yeah.
Yeah, Oracer briefly had them, and then we don't know what happened to them, I'm pretty sure. Like, Kelsier may have refound his bones somewhere.
Or just, had another.
Oh no, wait, I think Tensoon did use them again. He used them again late in like the third book, didn't he? He like went back to Luthadel to be Kelsier briefly and be like, "Hey, I'm your god. Go like hide under Luthadel's before like the end of the world comes."
Uh-huh.
So Tensoon had the bones, so they would have been around probably somewhere.
I mean, how long do bones last though? Come on.
A long time. More than 300 years.
They'd be disintegrated by now. They'd be bone
I
meal.
don't think so.
I mean, but what if he's using a Conjure, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know what he's using. That's my question. Is like, what is he using? Especially if he's using his own bones.
Wouldn't that make more sense? You could just have a Conjurer use your bones, turn into you, and then take over their body. And now you are you.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, instead of putting a fucking spike in your face.
Well, now his signature look, though. You can't change your signature look.
There's a picture of that? Of Kelsier's
we have like that chibi picture that I sent last time.
Yeah, aside from that, that's what I'm saying.
I can find Mistborn.
That just looks like he's wearing a monocle, to be honest.
Kelsier. Kelsier from Era 2. Oh, here's a...
Also, does that character that you showed have a name? Like,
I think those are just general... I think that would just be like people's general interpretation of how the showdown look.
Yeah, that's looks so badass. I could see it. Yep. Oh, god damn. Look at that fucking eyeball. Giant eyeball.
So now for some of my other overview questions. Do you think we're going to see Ghostblood operatives on other planets? Besides Stormlight, where we know there are.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
I think even if we don't see them, I think they're there. I think they're going to be on every planet except, what's her face? Autonomy. That's it. Be on
Oh,
every
except for
planet except
Taldane?
economies. Yep,
Yeah.
because, she'll probably smite them where they stand.
I think also Chris specifically says she can't get back to Taldane, so Taldane seems inaccessible at the moment.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's autonomy's directive, but I'm
Mhm.
sure they could find a way. Somebody can find a way to get there. Like
Mhm.
maybe Hoyd.
Do you think so, Darkness? Do you think we're gonna see Mistborn or Ghostblood operatives on other planets?
Yeah, I mean it's their job, right? And then technically we could still see Conjure out there too.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could.
Harmony
You
has
never know.
specifically started sending Conjure out.
Yeah,
So
we'll never know if there's Condra out there, to be honest.
I'm gonna let you know. So someone asked in
Oh
one of
god.
those like Brandon Sanderson like little question and answer sessions.
That's
They
good.
asked if there's any Khandra on Roshar, and there is apparently a Khandra on Roshar, but Brandon has not revealed who they are.
Which one's Roshar?
Stormlight.
Oh, okay.
There's apparently a Khandra on Roshar, and no one fucking knows who it is.
Yeah. Paladin became a Condra, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's why he dies in book 3, because he becomes a Condra. No.
Also, what do you think of this book overall? How did you guys like the Lost Metal?
Meh. It was okay. It kept me wondering and making theories, so it's always a good book.
What do you think, Darkness, of the Lost Metal?
It's alright. I do prefer the other eras.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That was gonna be my
sure.
other question: is would you prefer more, Mistborn Era 2 or Mistborn Era 1?
Era 1.
Era 1.
Yeah, I agree. I like Era 1 a lot.
I
will say the Lost Metal though is my favorite of the Era 2 books.
I could see that. Yeah.
Also, as I usually do when we finish a new book, what are your top 3 books that we've read so far?
That's hard. I forgot about all of them.
Warbreaker. Give me a second. Let me go look at the pinned comment real quick. Warbreaker's number 1. I don't know. I feel like Stormlight, the very beginning, first one, I think, maybe? I don't remember. One of them. One of the Stormlight books. I don't remember which one it was. And then the toss-up between Mistborn's Well of Ascension and Elantris, to be honest. Even though I really didn't like Elantris that much, but the idea behind it was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
But Warbreaker's definitely in my top, 100%.
Yeah.
I love Warbreaker. It was such a good book. I want to reread it now. After we read all these books, I'm going back to Warbreaker and just with fresh knowledge. Waiting for a second. Where's the second book of Warbreaker? Goddamn.
I know, right? That's what I've been saying. Give me fucking second book of Warbreaker.
I want to know about it. It left on such a good cliffhanger. Just make me a second book already. Damn. Want to know more?
Did you give us a top 3?
I think I'd go with. Fuck, this is hard. The first Stormlight book that we read.
Wave Kings.
Yeah. That, you know what? Yeah, that's gonna be my top one right now.
Okay.
Really?
And then
top 3.
For number 2 would be Elantris. And honestly, the third one's probably the first Mistborn book.
Oh, really? Warbreaker's not in your top 3 anymore?
Nah.
Okay.
Wow. Alright, that's crazy.
Well, it's because it got me thinking, right? And the only reason I like Warbreaker is because of Mop.
Wow.
And because it was our first book, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I wasn't, like, extremely attached to most of the characters.
I was. I really was.
I did like, what's his name? Susubron? Was it Susubron?
Susubron,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked him, and then that's about it.
Alright, well that's going to be the end of our final episode of Lost Metal. Thank you to Hubris, Calvin Dies Book 3, Kyle, and Danny the Spoon Lord for being our Patreons. We appreciate you very much. Goodbye!
Bye.